Topic 1. In many countries, traditional foods are being replaced by international fast foods. This is having a negative effect on both families and societies. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? In many parts of the world, families and societies are taking in much more international fast foods than traditional ones. I believe this growing tendency is exerting erosive effects on not only families but also societies. Firstly, it is noteworthy that the increasing popularity of fast foods has destructive impacts on the solidarity of family. Sociological studies have shown that although it is invisible, traditional foods in daily meals play an instrument in the enhancement of family ties. Therefore, it will be a mistake to overlook the fact that the convenience of international fast foods is at the expense of bonding time that people have with their family members to enhance family relations. For example, the ever-accelerated living tempo and fierce competition make people have insufficient time for their family. Especially in double-income families where both parents are working as breadwinners, preparing for a delicious meal and eating together are ideal activities for family members to share experiences, joys and sorrows. This example is the illustration of the fact that the consumption of fast foods for its convenience deprives people of the opportunity to tighten family unity. Secondly, the counter-argument raised by objectors to this is that the pervasiveness of international fast foods is a positive indicator of globalization and social, economic development. Because in modern society with ever-increasing pace of life, the consumption of fast foods that are prepared and readily available is time-efficient, especially to those who are time-minded with busy working schedule and this justification is reasonable to some extent. However, it is incomplete. What they fail to take into account is that fact that from cultural perspective, it will cast a shadow on the inheritance of long-established customs. For instance, in most cultures, traditional foods are integral parts of age-old customs, religious events, sacred rituals, cultural ceremonies as the presence of traditional foods represents solemnity, eternity. Hence, one can observe that the progressive vanishment of traditional foods in daily lives is having adverse impacts on the preservation of local cuisines, national identities. In conclusion, people should consider the fact that the increasing prevalence of fast foods has chronic effects on family unity and cultural conservation as mentioned above. 2. During holidays or weekends, young people spend less time on outdoor activities in the natural environment, such as hiking and mountain climbing. Why? What can be done to encourage them to go out? Today, youngsters in increasing number are unwilling to embrace the nature for relaxation and leisure such as hiking, climbing. In the following essay, reasons behind this phenomenon will be discussed, followed by appropriate solutions. Firstly, it is noteworthy that the increasing popularity of terminals is widely perceived as the main reason. Nowadays, sociological studies have shown that although it is invisible, the sweeping trend of electronic products like computers, mobile phones and iPads has given users swift and convenient access to various entertainment modes. As a result, they spend most of their spare time online, playing video games, watching movies or socializing with their friends on online platforms rather than hang out in natural environment, engaging in outdoor activities. Secondly, another factor that has added fuel to the fire is the pressure of fierce competition. According to researches, with ever-accelerated living tempo and stiff competition in working places, young people are afflicted with busy working schedule on every workday. Even in countries where the extension of working hours has been made illegal to protect job holders from various forms of exploitation, young workers are inclined to devote themselves to jobs for potential career opportunities. In other words, the fear of unemployment has encouraged youngers to give high commitment to jobs, leading to have less time for physical activities. In tackling this problem, some effective and feasible measures should be adopted by local governments. To be specific, the government should enhance overall awareness of the young towards health by publicity and education and make them realize the fact that outdoor activities do a great job in physical and mental well-being, and then enhance their study or work efficiency immensely. Meanwhile, schools and companies should organize more activities for young people to participate in, which will provide them with more opportunities to make new friends and communicate with each other. Only in these ways will more young people take active part in outdoor activities willingly. In conclusion, the progressive pervasiveness of technological devices and the fast pace of life are the main reasons. Solutions to this require proactive actions from governments and companies as mentioned above. Topic 3. Many people believe that bicycle is a healthy and environmentally friendly mode of transport. However, it is no longer the main form of transport. What are the reasons? What could be done to encourage the use of bicycles among the wider population? In many parts of the world, cycling is a mode of transportation utilized by people because of its desirable impact on health and environment. However, it is not as popular as before. In this essay, reasons behind this phenomenon will be discussed, followed by appropriate solutions to promote a wider use of cycling for commuting. Firstly, it is noteworthy that the fast pace of life is widely perceived as the main reason. Nowadays, modern life is getting much busier than in the past. Individuals nowadays want to spend as little time on transport as possible. Therefore, they prefer to use other vehicles, such as motorbikes or cars, which would take less time. Secondly, another factor that should be taken into account is the fact that there are some psychological factors that deter bike commuting. Indeed, cycling on busy streets can involve high risks, especially for inexperienced cyclists. Without dedicated facilities, unpleasant weather conditions and lack of parking places could be real concerns for many who consider cycling as a mode of transport. Several actions can be taken to increase the popularity of bicycles. The first solution would be to make it more costly to own a motorbike or a car. To be specific, the government should increase the price of petrol or raise the tax on these vehicles. As a result, more people would choose bicycles as their primary means of transport. Additionally, more lanes should be built to serve only cyclists, which would make it much faster to travel with bicycles. The final solution is to launch campaigns to raise citizens' awareness of the harmful effects of motorbikes and cars on the environment, encouraging people to cycle more often. In conclusion, there are some reasons why bicycles are becoming less common in today's world, and solutions should be produced early to promote this environmentally friendly means of transport as mentioned above. Topic 4. The cultures of many countries around the world become more similar than they used to be. What are the reasons for this trend? Is it positive or negative? Nowadays, the world is becoming a global village and cultural similarities are more evident. In this essay, reasons behind this phenomenon will be discussed, followed by its influences. Firstly, it is noteworthy that globalization is widely perceived as the main reason. Nowadays, sociological studies have shown that although it is invisible, culture exchange has been accelerated in every walk of life. Under the facade of trading activities like importing media products or the expansion of international companies, the invasion of exotic cultures and the erosion of local cultures have become more serious. Secondly, Another factor that has added fuel to the fire is the spread of the Internet. According to researchers, with the mushrooming development of online platforms, Internet users are more inclined to think and behave in similar patterns due to the fact that they tend to refer same information resources. As a result, Westernization and Americanization have been promoted silently as the majority of information sources available on cyberspace present beliefs, norms that are derived from Western cultures. In evaluating its impacts, people should take into account the progressive vanishment of cultural diversity. Needless to say, each country is characterized by its distinguishing cultural values. Local norms, non-material heritages, age-old traditions, long-established customs, religious taboos, regional identities. Meanwhile, transnational commercial activities are exporting Western culture worldwide and putting many indigenous cultures at the risk of extinction, leading to the uniformity of norms and ways of life. Some may argue that this trend is positive development, because it eliminates the cultural barriers, helping people from different cultural backgrounds to have mutual understanding more easily. This justification is true to some extent. However, it is incomplete. What they fail to consider is that it is a worrying trend. From the view of human resource management, brain drain as a subsequent consequence of cultural colonization. Talented workers tend to migrate to countries of dominant cultures, resulting in the labor shortage in countries with minority cultures. In conclusion, international business and Internet development are the main reasons of the matter. Despite some benefits, people should pay attention to its negative effects as mentioned above. Topic 5. More and more people no longer read the newspaper or watch TV programs to get news. They get news about the world through the Internet. Is this a positive or negative development? There is a growing trend that people are giving up newspapers and TV programs and turning to the Internet for news happening around the world. In my opinion, it is an enheartening change. Firstly, it is noteworthy that the increasing popularity of the Internet does a great job in accelerating the circulation of the news. Sociological studies have shown that although it is invisible, the pace of life has been accelerated, and the public has a growing appetite for different content areas of news, including national, local, entertainment, sports, politics, weather, and traffic news. Therefore, it will be a mistake to overlook the fact that the Internet with easy access and widespread can satisfy the requirements of information explosion brought about by ever-changing world. For example, online news sources have greater advantages in terms of the timeliness of the coverage. Those who are time-minded and working ever-developing fields have demand for keeping themselves well updated of the latest changes, the newest trends. In comparison, it takes a longer time to get the news via the newspaper and TV, as reporters need to be dispatched to the site and too much time is spent on writing, printing, circulation and program production. This example is the illustration of the fact the increasing pervasiveness of the Internet as a corresponding change to the change of modern society. Secondly, the counter-argument raised by objectors to this is that many pieces of news appearing on the Internet are inaccurate and unreliable due to the subjectivity of information posted by Internet users. Even the coverage towards the same event is largely different, which is time-consuming to readers or viewers to ascertain the authenticity of the news. This justification is reasonable to some degree. However, it is incomplete. What they fail to take into account is that fact that many online newspapers operated by professional organizations are dependable as they strictly stick to the high standard of journalism. For instance, many credible online newspapers are given high weight by the public for unbiased, impartial, dispassionate presentation of information without introducing prejudices of personal opinions as commentators. Hence, one can observe that with literacy skill, Internet users can find trustworthy sources. In conclusion, this phenomenon is more a positive change for reasons mentioned above. Topic 6. Health experts claim that walking is the best exercise. However, people are walking less on a daily basis. What has made this happen and how to deal with it? Scientific researches have shown that walking is physically beneficial. Nevertheless, modern people are walking less frequently as a daily activity. In this essay, reasons behind this phenomenon will be discussed, followed by appropriate solutions to it. Firstly, the ever-accelerated living tempo is widely perceived as the main reason. Nowadays, sociological studies have shown that although it is invisible, the labor-intensive economy has gradually become knowledge-based economy and jobs are now more mentally demanding. Therefore, it will be a mistake to overlook the fact that busy working schedule on every workday has silently encouraged workers to adopt sedentary lifestyle. Secondly, another factor that has intensified this trend is mushrooming development of personal devices. According to researches, people are more inclined to watch TV and play electronic games to get instant pleasure and fill in their time, rather than choose to walk, which is a relatively exhausting activity. In tackling this problem, some effective and feasible measures should be adopted by local governments. To be specific, the government should implement fixed working hours so that people can have more autonomous time for walking and exercise to improve health and productivity. For example, authorities in developed countries have prohibited the expansion of working shift to protect job holders from labor exploitation. Secondly, people need to realize that increased walking time is not strenuous, but rather, it can increase physical vitality and energy. This awareness needs to be instilled in the public by social groups. In conclusion, the paced lifestyle and growing pervasiveness of digital devices are the main reasons. Solutions to this problem require proactive actions from governments as mentioned above. Topic 7. Today, due to advanced medicine, people are living longer. Therefore, the number of elders is expected to exceed that of young people. Do the advantages of this development outweigh the disadvantages? In contemporary society, owing to advanced medical services, human longevity is prolonged. Accordingly, the number of senior citizens is predicted to surpass that of youngers. In my opinion, the benefits of this growing trend outstrip the drawbacks. Firstly, it is noteworthy that continued employment of older workers after reaching retirement ages is a strategic approach to young labor shortage. Many sociological studies have shown that due to the trend of suspending parenthood to have children later in life, young labor crisis has become alarmingly serious in countries with low fertility rate. Therefore, it will be a mistake to overlook the fact that the expansion of aged population is a positive development to the sustainability of macroeconomic performance. For example, in countries where local governments are confronting with shrinking workforce as a result of combined effects caused by low birth rate and strict immigration policies, compulsory retirement has been abolished to expand working ages, directly solving the lack of laborers. This example is the illustration of the fact that although it is invisible, the aged workers can directly constitute a major workforce, keep working as productive members of community and creating surpluses to society. Secondly, the counter-argument raised by objectors to this is that the upsurge of senior citizens is accompanied by increased pressure on welfare systems to sustain older generations. Because the aging population is directly proportional to public expenditures spent on medical services such as frequent hospitalization for chronic diseases. long-term treatment of age-related illnesses, typically dementia, and the operation of nursing homes. This justification is reasonable to some degree, yet it is incomplete. What they fail to take into account is the fact that if governments evade the responsibility for taking care of the old, it will be an appropriation of their earnings because the old did pay taxes to the state during working lives. Correspondingly, authorities are expected to plow back tax revenue to social services as the fulfillment of their obligation to citizens. In conclusion, there are more benefits than problems when the old outnumber the youth for reasons mentioned above.